All right. Let's see. So I think I'm on. Can everyone see me and hear me? Let's see. Good evening, everyone. Looks like we got a couple people in here. All right. And so yeah, you can see me. Okay, there we go. Forward a little bit. I got my mic on. I'm not doing the StreamYard today, as I've taken the Quail Shack chat with Matt actually out to the Quail Shack tonight for our discussion. And let's see. So can you guys hear me? Can you see me? Hey, CDB there. Good to see you. And let's see, we got a couple people in here. It looks like Nick over at Arizona Highland had stopped in. I don't know if you're still here, but good to see you. Shalom, J. Mary, last one. And so Nick was actually saying kind of what I'm talking about tonight, and I can't put his comment up on the stream because I don't have up on the screen because I don't have StreamYard going, but I'll read it off. He just said, can't watch tonight. It gets cold here. Last night, the water rails for our hatching time quail cages froze and blew out the end. 9 degrees is too cold, apparently. Yikes, Nick. So I don't know if you're still here, but that is cold, and that is kind of something I want to talk about. And so last year was kind of more of a mild year, and truly, I really have no place to complain because let's see, I really can't complain. Here in New Mexico, after I was looking at weather maps, and yes, all good. Okay, cool. So I was looking at the weather maps in the rest of the country, and New Mexico is kind of part of Arizona, New Mexico, and part of California, it looks like, are a little exception to the extreme temperatures. So it is cold. It's supposed to get down to 19 tonight. My thing actually read 17 degrees was the lowest temperature it hit out here last night in the Quail Shack, actually. And so there's a little bit I want to talk about there. But so howdy. Hey, Verna, good to see you. Welcome. I enjoyed your stream this morning. And we got Little Ridge Farm. Hey, howdy. Good to see you. Welcome. Let's see. Who else? B? Yep, we got a couple people in here. If I missed anyone already, I am sorry, Linda Lannon, and you got the gift. Awesome, cool. Or the winning. So that is awesome. Well, howdy, everybody. It is good to see you. If you don't know me, you're watching on the recap or new here. My name is Matthew with the Grafted Branch Homestead, and I'm here from our urban homestead or our backyard homestead in the Southwest Desert. And so right now it is cold in here, but it's not too cold. I'm going to turn around the camera. And so I've actually been sitting out here for a minute, and you'll see a couple things in the Quail Shack. I got this little buddy heater that's been going. I have my Govee thermometer, and that's actually going to be, a new one of those is going to be the price for tonight. It says it's 47 degrees in here right now. You'll also see I've put black trash bags or plastic up along the back wall on the side here, and that is just because there are still a lot of cracks. I haven't finished insulating in here. And it got so cold last night that I decided to put up some of that plastic over the drafty parts. And it's still getting cold in here, but that helps some. And of course I can't leave this heater running while I'm not in here. I don't want to burn the place down. So part of tonight was I wanted to open up some open discussion and fellowship on what you guys do with the cold and with your animals, whether they're farm animals or just pets or backyard poultry like we have here, how you deal with heating a barn, a shed, chicken coops, or if you even do it at all. And so I really wanted to open up chat for people that watch on replay, the comments, and then chat for those of you that are here tonight, just on what you do. Thursday the 23rd is forecasted to be -3. J. Mary last one saying, yikes. Yes. So, I feel bad even doing this chat kind of, because sitting here in New Mexico, it's cold. It's getting down to, 15 degrees, but nowhere near where it's hitting in other parts of the country. And that's really, and I'm also new to doing this, and so I'm opening it up to a lot of advice. So stay warm, everyone out there, first of all. If you are in a lot of these harder hit areas, please stay warm. Please have a source of heat, maybe a second source of heat, like a little buddy heater or something like that if you need or can get it. But Definitely. So let's see. Verna Young is saying she doesn't want to hear that. That 3 is too cold. She has jumbo white hatchings still. Very cool, Verna. We'll have number out tomorrow. Being them you have in your apartment. So you have plastic on the windows tomorrow. Okay, yep. So I do that in the house, and I've done a video on that. So great idea. I do put up the plastic on the windows to kind of create an extra seal. So that's what I have going out here. The plan, of course, is I want to insulate this quail shack pretty well so it holds temperature. And that's not really because the birds necessarily need it. Part of backyard poultry, now I don't know other farm animals, that's something I most certainly want to learn, but I'll have to wait until I get more land. So right now I know the quail and the chicken, but they do great in the cold. They really do. Feathers are amazing, so they will get sluggish and crowd together. There's a few things you can do to help them. It's a good idea in the winter to overpack their cages if they're outdoors a little bit more than you would in warmer weather, just so they keep themselves warm with their body heat. But feathers do a great job, and they will do okay. Really, more so, what is important is making sure you keep your poultry out of the elements, out of the wind, out of the snow, the rain, you know, those types of things. So they need to be in a covered area. So it's really good in here. They're not getting drafts, wind, or anything like that. It does get cold still. Now, I haven't had a problem with my thing freezing yet, even though it was well below freezing in here. I've left a couple other water containers out. I don't know if that helps. That's something I think I remember my grandmother doing that I did. I remember in a small town here. But their water didn't freeze. The chickens did, of course, and everything outside. And so that's something to contend with, is breaking up the water. But more so, I want to insulate this place in this quail shack, because I do want to do all my brooding and incubating out here eventually. I don't think I'm going to accomplish that goal before the end of the year here, but hopefully for spring. So with the cold temperatures, that's caused me to, I guess, go about or address that a little bit differently. And so I did want to share some of my ideas there tonight. Excuse me, sorry. And Carolina Kind Family Home said, cheers. Hey, good to see you there, Willie. And so actually, you know what? I'm going to read a couple comments. We're going to get to who won the last giveaway. I'm going to talk a little bit more, and then we'll get on to the next giveaway here. So let me get to a couple comments. Let's see. Linda Landon. I'm inland from west coast of Florida. We have a small electric space heater for the quail. Okay. If it goes below 30 degrees. Awesome. Mary says, my little Pomeranian doesn't like the cold. Oh, CDB says to J. Mary, your little Pomeranian doesn't like the cold. In and out fast as he can. Yeah, so my little dogs don't like it either. Here in New Mexico, we don't, it does get very cold, but not as cold as a lot of places. Can you cover the cages? Kinda, you do a bird cage at night. So that's a great idea, actually. I hadn't thought about that. I probably could put a drape over the cage here, because I do have this Wynola Ranch cage set up, and so I probably could come up with a drape that I put over that would help quite a bit, actually. Fantastic idea. That's why I love this community. You guys rock. So that's something I actually think I am going to implement. I also am going to partition off areas with drapes, really. And that's something I want to talk about a little bit. I'll get to that. Awesome comment. And so as long as they have a place to get out of the inclement weather, they can handle 20 below. Wow. So that is really cold. I do know with it hitting 15 here, when I came out this morning, I don't have the quails packed nearly as much as they should. They're very thin. I do need to do a good cull. Part of what I'll get into later too. But they were sluggish. It was cold. They do okay, but even the chickens didn't want to move around a whole lot till the sun got up. And so I had to break up their water and stuff. But the thing about covering cages, Verna says, is you have to be careful. There is no way for them to be able to grab the material or they will eat it. Okay. So I have a, it's like an outdoor picnic blanket, I guess, or a camping blanket that has a almost rubberized bottom to it. It's not super thick, but I'm thinking something like that might work really well, because I don't think they could grab any of that material off. And I think it should insulate it well. You do want to make sure they can get air still. I'll point that out. But use shower curtains around the backs of your cages, Linda's saying. Okay, great idea, Linda. All right. So apparently this is something I need to do. That will help. I'm glad I took this to you guys. Let's get to last week's giveaway. So last week's giveaway was, we went ahead and we had our winner, and I shipped that off. We had Verna had won one, we had Linda Lannon won one, and then Verna had won one, and so we got all those shipped off, and we had a surprise giveaway, and that was for a small buck knife. And I've actually included another little something there. And so that was to whoever left a comment saying Quail somewhere in the comment section from last week's live stream. And so we ended up getting 8 comments on there and 4 people that commented. And so what I did was have it pick a random generated number so as to which comment would win. And so this is the buck knife, first of all. Now I carry, oh, and I don't even have it on me right now. I needed it. That's okay. I carry my buck knife on me all the time. I absolutely love it. I use it constantly. It's a big one. This is just a small one. It's their smallest little mini version pocket knife, but little buck knife there. And so this was the surprise giveaway that I decided to spring in there. And so it's that little buck pocket knife, and then I've actually included another one of these Quail journals, and so it's just an empty notebook, but I think this would be great for incubating notes or different notes on your quail. And so that's that cool Quail notebook. Hey Syke, good to see you. No, you're fine, we're just getting going, and so good to see you. And so anyways, out of those 4, our winner from last week's there was Carolina Kind Family Homestead. So Willie, you over there, CK, you are the winner of the buck knife and the Quail book. And so I don't know if I can throw up my email address, but it's graftedbranchhomestead@gmail.com. And so shoot me an email there just with your address or an address you'd like it sent to, and I'll get that in the mail right away. So congratulations there, Willie. All right, and so we do have another giveaway this week, and I'll get to that in a minute, because it has to do with what we're talking about tonight. And so, oh wow, yes, you're welcome. They're small gifts, they're not big things, but it's my way of spreading a little bit of thanks and cheer here to the community. So congratulations. All lowercase? Oh, I don't know. Anyways, so congratulations, and Verna's taking out Lucy. Okay, cool. So yeah, great ideas with covering the cage. That actually gives me a head start tonight to tonight's chat, and I really wanted to explore some different ways. I was thinking about possibly like a little oil space heater or something like that. And again, you really just want to keep the birds out of the elements. So the reason I want to keep this quail shack heated is I really want to use it for a lot more than just my bigger egg laying and meat quail here. So right now, I have this 3-tier cage that is going to be used for the breeders. Ooh, I am building out, I can try and get the camera back so you can see the full thing. But anyways, this is going to be used for the breeders. I hopefully will have like Celadon on the top, the Jumbo Browns on the bottom, and then I want to do a different one in the middle. And then I'm going to have an egg layer cage over here that I'm going to build out on a stand. And those will be just for those egg layers. Below it, I'm going to have a cage for extra roos or extra roosters there. And so that's the idea for this side of the shack. And then we come over here, we got their food. I do prefer it to be warm in here, or a little warmer for the battery. That's all the timers and mess I have there for the solar system. But over in this corner here, I've actually moved out my mealworms. And so I have them out here in these different bins, and they were moving around and doing good in there. I moved them out a couple days ago, and with these harder freezes, a lot of them have died off. From what I understand and what I've seen, When it warms up again, they'll kind of spring back and come back. So I need to do some work with that. But those are going to end up moving anyways. What's going to happen is this corner, right behind it is the rain catchment system. Now in the winter, I won't be using that. In the summer, I will. So on the other side of the quail shack here, on the other side of this wall, I'm going to be putting in a small sink. So that way I can do some culling and cleaning out there. And it will have a little spigot that comes in here I've decided to do for filling up water. Now underneath, I'm going to do a build out, kind of a cabinet shelf area here that will take most of this section. Below it will be for the mealworms, and I can put in a couple more there. And then up top, I'm going to have the quail brooder. And so I'm going to actually kind of build one to fit in that area there specifically. Now above that, I am going to want a heat lamp, so I'm going to need to put a small inverter in here that can power that heat lamp, as well as possibly beef up the solar to handle that. Excuse me. With that, I'm going to need to make sure it's insulated well in here for temperature adjustments. In the summer, I do have these windows up high that I can open and all that, so that's not too big of a problem. And actually, this little heater is warming it up nice in here, so I might take my jacket off. But we will have the brooder box built up there. Over in this corner here against this wall is going to be that second cage, the layer cage, and then right here I'm going to have a shelf that is going to have the incubator on it. Behind right here is a door actually that goes out to the back, where I'm going to have a brooder box for chickens. And so I don't know how well that came through, or those plans. If you guys stick with me on my channel throughout 2023, those are a lot of the things that you should see progress here in the quail shack with Matt. And so I really do want to get the mealworms going full blast and a lot more. I really want to ramp up the foods that I'm feeding my birds coming, and then of course having to supplement that because we are a small urban homestead. I'm really wanting to take where I get my feed and my farm type supplies. I will be moving that with this new year to local places, so I need to find some local places. I've been getting my feed before from the big box store and the tractor store and all, but it's time to take that local and start moving towards more so what I can produce, and then the birds that I can, like the chickens, let roam through the yard and stuff, do that. So that's some of the goals. But with that, I do need this to be insulated and warm. So I'm trying to overcome that. I've been looking at doing different heaters like I've talked about, possibly heat lamps. I will need a heat lamp for the brooders, and of course the incubator will take some power. It has some heat to it. With adding more birds and these more things in here, just being that it's a small space, I do know that will increase the temperature. So that way the brooder birds aren't getting too cold, the mealworms aren't getting too cold, and all of that. So that's a lot to do, and a lot for me to work out in here. The chickens do fine. Their biggest thing is just making sure that they have water and that they're out of the elements. Let's see, and I got a bunch of comments. Let's see, congratulations, they're saying, to Carolina Kind. Yep, awesome. And then email, shouldn't be case sensitive. Oh yeah, okay, yes, that's what you're saying. Thank you, Psych, there, I appreciate that. So no, just Grafted Branch Homestead. I think it's all lowercase, but I don't believe it's case sensitive. Shoot me one, I'll reply right away to you. And then let's see, great utilization of space. Thanks, CDB. I have a bunch of extra wood. If you want to come build that out here, I would have all we need. Oh, okay. Well, I will get to you about that. And then J. Mary, last one, saying, can you buy crickets at the bait shop? Don't know the price and all, but I know the pet stores sell them here also. I probably could get crickets. I'm not sure. So to air to the whole world on the air, one of my irrational, stupid fears, and that would be crickets and grasshoppers. No other bugs really bother me. I'm good with most all other things, but for some reason, crickets and grasshoppers just give me the heebie-jeebies. And so, and now being laughed at. But Yeah, so they're my nemesis. And so so that way I'm getting the protein that the birds need. Oh, and I hope the stream's still going. Let's see. I don't know if that was just my computer or if I stopped streaming. My internet's being a little funky, but I am kind of far from the Wi-Fi here, out in the quail shack. So it is. Okay, cool. So yeah, that's basically what I know. I know the birds do well with it. I do need to temperature control though for the baby birds and the bugs and other things that I'm bringing out here. So that's the goal. I do have a lot of questions though with people who have other animals like sheep or I don't know, bigger animals, other farm animals, and what they do to heat barns, or if they even do that at all. So that definitely interests me because that's a direction I want to go. But as for now, this little buddy heater works great. It will drop down temperature in here quite a bit tonight. I'm hoping that the plastic and these other things do well. So with that said, and a little bit of talk about that, still going, okay, cool. And we have about 9 of us in here now, so I'll go ahead and get to this week's small giveaway. And once again, these aren't big items. Someday I do hope if I get to the point where I can give away real useful things, like maybe some small solar generator, things like that. That's definitely my goal. Or maybe like this little buddy heater to keep some of y'all warm that are in much harder hit areas in the country here right now. That would be fantastic, and we'll get there. But for now, I just have some small gifts, kind of novelty things, as well as things to help out, such as things that I like with the jerky and the green chili, or different quail items. But this week, what I'm doing is, and I got this idea from Verna, or this product, and this is the Govee thermometer, smart thermometer hygrometer. And so this thing's awesome, and whether you have animals or not, this is something you can use. It is a little weather station like you see. It gives you the temperature in either Fahrenheit and Celsius, the ranges max and minimum, and then the hygrometer. But what this is really cool is it connects to my phone, and so I can see everything it's been charting over the day, the week, the hour, the month. I can look at it in my phone and see what temperature it's at in real time. So this is going to be fantastic. And what Verna was saying to use it for was to put into the incubator. But either way, I put it out here and it held up in the temperatures, even though it says indoor. It held up in the temperatures out here very well, so I could see what it was doing out here last night and chart that. And then yeah, so I'm really happy with this. I'm actually going to get another one that I will be using in the incubator and brooder box possibly. And it's great for incubators as well. Yep. And heavy layers of straw in the barns to help with the bigger animals. And so that was something I was wondering about too, is my floor here. So we're on the mesa, and this is all mesa sand. I don't know how well I can show that. But the dirt out here that you'll see me kicking around all the time is mesa sand. It's just this real fine sand. I don't know. And that's most of it. And actually I have a project going on, so there's a fairly deep hole out in my yard. And I can tell you many feet down, it's just mesa sand. And so that, and then I've been putting in the stones for the flooring in here. But I'm thinking that a lot of the heat is just being sucked through this floor. And so that is something I'm thinking about as well. And so with the chickens, I've actually put straw and hay down this year, all throughout their coop and their runs and everything. And so it's pretty well insulated, and they like that. They enjoy it on their feet. Also, instead of cleaning it up real nice and letting it kind of sit like that, I realized what was happening, especially in the dry New Mexico desert, was all those nutrients and the moisture was being drawn out and then kind of blown away, and it was just turning the soil into this sand. And so what I've decided to do this year was I planted a lot of things like sunflowers and stuff like that in the garden, with large daisies with large taproot systems to help to break up the soil and drive the nutrients down, and I've been building that up some. Now what I've done this year is we've decided to go with the no-till, and kind of a lasagna method. And so I'm cutting all the plants off at the bases, and a lot of them go to the chickens or in the compost pile, but a lot of that just goes right back on the ground. I've covered most of the ground with straw. There's some cover crop, and so it's got a good thick layer, and I'm going to let that sit over winter in the garden, as well as the chicken coop, and just keep building it up with more compost and soil in the spring, and build layers. And so that way hopefully it'll give me much better soil in the garden, as well as in the chicken coop. I can start building compost over there as well. And maybe that's what I need to do here, is possibly put some straw down that I can clean up later on top of these bricks. But awesome. So yes, the Govee, I got way sidetracked there. The Govee thermometer, hygrometer is going to be our giveaway for this week. And one thing I didn't anticipate with these giveaways, I guess, just not thinking, was actually the price of shipping right now. So that's kind of was something that caught me off guard a little bit. So with this Govee and this winning this week, I'm actually going to order one off the internet and just have it shipped to you. And so in order to win this, once again, once this live stream is posted, go ahead and go to it, and in the comments I want you to post on there your favorite farm animal, whether you have animals or not. It doesn't have to be your animal, maybe one you would like to have, like a horse or a cow, but just post your name and what animal you would like, or would be your favorite or ideal one that you either would like or have, and post that in the comment section there. And the next time we do this drawing, you can win this Govee. Now, I do want to mention the final giveaway in this little holiday giveaway set I have here is going to be the silver coin. And so that's a 1 ounce silver coin, and I'm going to be giving that away. I am going to do a little standalone video kind of to promote that, as far as how you can win that. And so it's definitely one everyone wants to check out. A few things with my schedule coming up here. Now tomorrow starts Hanukkah, and that runs for 8 days. Right in that is, of course, Christmas, and it's a very busy time at work for me right now, and our schedule is going to run kind of funny, as well as a lot of family and other stuff like that. So this Sunday, we are most likely not going to be doing the Sunday morning chat with Casey unless he is particularly feeling inspired to do so. Normally that's also my garden chat time, but being winter, there's not a lot going on. So that one we may forego unless he's particularly wanting to do it. As far as next week, there's going to be no live streams next week. I just have too much going on, and I really need to focus on what's going on here at home and the family and getting that done. So there's no streams there. The following week there, I believe that's New Year's Eve actually, I am going to come on for a stream. I'm going to do that at 8 o'clock and be on for a little stream. At that time, we will announce the winner of the Govee thermometer, and as well as there will be the live drawing for the silver coin, and so that will be on that live stream there. So those are some things that are going on, and definitely some things to stay tuned to. And it's saying it's actually 56 in here right now, so we'll enjoy a little bit of chat tonight, and then I will take this next week off to focus on family, and then we will get back to it with the new year. And I do want to do kind of a neat little maybe extended stream on New Year's Eve. Not too late, because I'll have family here as well, but I want to do a little extended one going over goals, insights, things I would like to see and get done, as well as things you guys have going on. I'd like to at that time maybe get the community or whoever's in that stream, you guys that have been here for a lot of it, together to really go over maybe some of your needs or wants, and I can put together things like a prayer list and stuff like that. So those are some of definitely my goals coming up here. And let me see, I'll hop in comments for a sec. Horse pellet bedding works. Okay, so I actually have back here a whole tub of the stall pellet bedding. I was using that to put down on the trays, excuse me, on the bottom of the quail trays to soak up some of the moisture. One of the things with quail, sorry, I kind of a cough. Excuse me. One of the things with quail, if you're not familiar with them, is their droppings can smell, particularly in the summer, and if they get wet, oh boy, man, they can smell. So I was using some of those horse stall pellets on the bottom of the tray to soak up that moisture. I had originally was using like pine shavings, but that kind of becomes too much of a mess. I find the stall pellets, I can use far fewer of them and they really soak that up. So that's a great idea, and that is probably a winner. So I'm thinking I'm gonna go with covering the with a blanket. When I have the incubator built out in here, because of how its light cycle is different and those that kind of goes that way, I'm going to put a drape actually that goes up here and across to cover that, so I can keep that light separate, as well as probably more temperature controlled and climate controlled in there, as well as the worms will be below it, so that will really help. And then I believe with finishing out the stone and the flooring in the shack here, and then covering it in the winter with horse stall pellets, will really help with soaking up any residual moisture. I think it's actually going to help with moisture buildup in here as well. So something else I wanted to mention that I'm unfamiliar with, that I do need to learn about, is ventilation, particularly. So I know with using these heaters inside, I might as well point out, it's a good tip that I've learned, is carbon monoxide buildup can be a problem, so having those on hand definitely is a plus. We have one that plugs into the wall in the house, but I really want to get some that are on batteries, that are mobile, that I could have out here and other places, because that will kill animals and people very quickly. And with burning inside, like if I'm using this heater and stuff, that could be a problem. So I do need to look into ventilation, particularly in the winter. In the summer it's not a problem because I have so many openings with the different windows, but in the winter it's still important to ventilate it in here even though it's cold. They still need fresh air and oxygen. Same temp here, Verna's saying. Oh yes. Oh, Sykes saying, wow, it's 28 outside, that's pretty good heat. Yeah, 56 in here and about 28 right now, and we're expecting it to drop down. I believe it said to like 19, 20 tonight, so a few more degrees to drop down there, Tell. So this little heater is actually working great. I don't know, I started off doing some of these lives doing a product review. Now I'm not sponsored by anyone, I haven't bought anything new for the stream. This is actually something I've had for a little bit here, but I'll show it because it's actually working really well in here. And you know, this could be handy if your power goes out and your heat or your gas or who knows what, you're camping, or for your animals. And this is just the Mr. Heater. Oh, it's not the little buddy, I don't know, maybe that's what it's called. But it's just this little heater here. And I'm going to give a horrible product review because I don't even really know what it's called. The Mr. Heater, the little one. And it just screws onto those little propane cans, in which I have many of. And so that's a great heater. It's working really well. And I think that putting the plastic up is helping. It'll help with any drafts coming through the boards. I've decided to build the quail shack just using fencing planks and 2x4s. If you've been following me, I built this whole thing over this last year. And then the year before that, I built the chicken area. And then next year, something else if we're still here. And my wife allows. But anyways, and then of course I'm going to finish out this shack. But so the air does go through. I've been using on the outside here just the 1x2, kind of like this board here, to cover the cracks. But I do want to come along and put in some spray insulation in, as well as, I don't know how well you can see, but I've started putting in some of this purple insulation. This stuff's real expensive, so I'm just going to have to do it slowly as I can afford it, and then insulate out the roof and the rest of the shack. So it's a slow process. As with all my builds, I have a lot of projects going on at once, probably too many. And then I allocate funds very slowly, just kind of as I can, and things I can get. And so a lot of mix match stuff, but that's how my builds go, but they work. Speaking of, I've also been putting in branding racks for the things we can or jar up. And so I put up 2 of them, and I'm going to be putting in a third rack, and those all have lights, and I'm going to be putting in some nice trim that I stain and hopefully finish up soon. And then I want to shoot the video of that and show that to you once I get it finished. Let's see. Okay, Verna's saying, oh, well, let me go back a little bit. Syke says, I use one camping. I'll send you the link. Okay, yeah, send that to me. Thank you. There. And Verna says, Matt, you can get a small exhaust fan for greenhouses that you can put in a shed to draw out carbon dioxide. That's the other one. Yeah, carbon dioxide. Great advice, Verna. Yeah, that you get for greenhouses. Okay. So I have all these windows here so I can hook something like that up. And then I guess intake you want down low from what I understand. So I might put an intake down low. And then let's see. I use carbon filter to exhaust. So CK saying I use a carbon filter exhaust in your bird barn. Okay. So I'm somewhat familiar with carbon filter exhaust for different things. I haven't used it for the bird barn. I'd actually be curious to see yours if you ever shoot it or wanted to show it. And then in the quail shack, I don't think you need to worry too much about ventilation. It's not airtight. No, not yet. I'm hoping to make it kind of airtight though, or very insulated. But right now, I don't think it's a problem. Like a dryer vent rigged up. Okay. Good idea. Excellent advice. And that's the type of exhaust fan in your window and run 24/7 when you have quail. So the quail do have some smell, and of course they molt just like the chickens, so you'll get feathers that go places. When you have the little quail in the brooders and the incubators, they let off their fluff and the powder kind of as they're going, and so you get a lot of mess. And so with the incubator I had built, I actually ended up putting a little like air vent filter in it and in front of the air intake and the air outtake areas. And I'll show that when I get that incubator out. That's one I want to set up in this quail shack. I did like it, and with the upgrades it works out well. The new incubator I used, I do like quite a bit, the Cubonics. I didn't get a great hatch rate. There's some things I need to do there. I think that had more so to do with my quail. I only got 4 of those to hatch. And actually, CK, I'm not sure what your final hatch rate was. I missed that. I know Verna's still waiting to get hers, but if you have yours, throw that in chat. I'd be curious to see if you want to. The quail have dander, yeah. Okay, it's made for a grow tent. It helps keep bird smells down as well as exhaust out the old air. That's a great idea. Okay. So yeah, so I've used some carbon filters and things, so I could definitely do that. Use old computer fans for small vents. That's a good idea as well. And probably actually I use computer fans. Some kind of fast, nice ones are what I use in the incubator that I built. So I have extras of those around, so that might actually be something I do. I was even thinking about, I was looking up all those cool YouTube videos where they'll make the little, like, I don't know if you've seen, but they'll make like a little box that has the candles in it and the air intake and make the whole small stove, and I was thinking I can do something like that. But one of my main goals here is to give the quail and the chickens a good life, and by starting a quick I guess large all at once KFC style chicken quail roast is not a good way to take care of my birds. And I'm afraid by putting some sort of fire heater or system in here, I may just very well burn the whole thing down. So I'm not going to do that. I'm kind of prone to stuff like that. All right. Okay, so Carolina Kind Family Homestead, 24 eggs, only 10 hatched, 2 died, 8 got 8, and the rest of the eggs had some rotten yolk. Okay, yep. First run from the birds. The second run should be better as they are older and breeding now. Yeah, great. Okay, so you make some good points there. So you got an okay, I'm going to scoot this a little bit if I can. So you got an okay hatch rate, not a stellar one you're saying, but there were some things there. So I actually had issues in my first hatch. I had an egg explode which was absolutely disgusting. I've had them break and stuff like that. So this was my first hatch with my own quail. And my birds are actually, I think they're about almost a year and a half old now. So they are older birds. I'm taking the older eggs. I didn't allow them to sit right. I didn't spray them with the Listerine to kill any bacteria. So I think there were issues there, possibly. I didn't cover my incubator to keep it real warm. I actually had to open it on hatching day because one of the chicks fell into the area where the water is because I hadn't put the guard on that incubator. So I had a whole bunch of problems. And so I had an absolutely horrible hatch rate. You got a better hatch rate than I did. So that's cool. Hey, and actually that made me think, so you won this giveaway and this notebook. So maybe this will help you with some notes you can take or something like that. I don't know. I thought it was neat. That's what I'm going to use mine for. And hopefully get some better hatch rates. So in Verna's chat this morning, someone was in there actually saying they had gotten like a 97% hatch rate or something crazy like that. So there's definitely tinkering I need to do. I need to keep my flocks rotated more with fresher eggs. I need to actually really start a breeding program where I'm raising them more often and going through them more often, and that is the goal. Part of that is my wife is very good about going along with me and enjoying in the garden and the animals as well. And she has a passion too. She's always telling me about the different animals she wants to get, and different things she wants to have. But I don't want to intrude too much. And by me constantly raising the animals in the house there, I'm taking away some of the space that she needs. And so my goal is to get them out here in the shack. And so, and then I can keep that going a little bit more. Let's see. Already started it on your notebook, Verna says. Oh, hey, yeah, Verna won one of those notebooks too. Cool. Awesome, Verna. All right. 41% hatch rate. Okay, not too bad. So I think my first hatch rate with the shipped eggs from my shire, if you guys, I had gotten shipped eggs from my shire and shipped eggs from Southwest Game Birds. Both actually ended up having a pretty good hatch rate. I liked both of them. Zach's eggs, from what I hear over at my shire, every time people are always getting really good hatch rates. So if you're getting shipped eggs, I suggest maybe getting them there. You should get some great hatch rates. Doing them on your own or from your own eggs is where I want to go to, or what I want to do as well. I just need some practice there for sure. And the best way to do that is by doing it. And once again, that's the whole reason I have this whole YouTube channel, and the whole reason I'm doing the things I'm doing here on the Urban Homestead is to build the skills and to learn through doing the things. And so there you go. And let's see, second eggs, LOL, you've eaten the first. Okay. Nigerian goats is what she needs, Matt. She wants sheep and goats and ducks and pig and I don't know, all kinds of things. So some for pets, some for eating, some for doing other things, I guess. I'll have to look up Nigerian goats. So we do want goats. I'm not sure what kind. I've been watching Nick over at Arizona Highland Homestead. Now he's on Rumble. He's making a transition over there a lot. So he stops in here and you'll see him sometimes. But I do suggest anyone that's got some time or wants to watch some really interesting stuff, hop over onto Rumble and look for Arizona Highland Homestead over there. And he has some sheep, and so he's on a new adventure just starting with those animals there. So Verna says, Matt, when you start your breeding program, you should watch my shire videos on Jumbo Wild Breeding Program. Excellent advice there, Verna. I will do that. So Zach has so many videos. I love watching them, and they're full of information. But sometimes I get lost a little bit in how many there are, so it's great having a suggestion on what to look for. So I will do that. I want some boar goats to clear your woods out. Yeah, well, I would like maybe some boar goats as well. You know, I want some woods for some boar goats to clear out. That's what I need. Me and my wife, the reason I know she's excited too, she's always sending me little ads of, different places of land or farmhouses or things for sale around, and she's finding some really neat ones. And we found some good ones recently, and hopefully within the next few years here. Now we have some circumstances and things that have us where we are now, but we do hope to get some land and be able to really extend what we're doing and do that there. But so we want to get some other animals. That would be fun. And once again, post what your favorite animal is. Once this live stream posts, and you can go in and leave a comment in the comment section, not the chat, but the comment section, of your name and just what your favorite farm animal would be or is, and leave that there, and for the giveaway for the Govee. But we do want a plethora of animals. Keep your faith, and you'll be provided for. Yep. So I fully agree. We are blessed. I am not complaining. And actually, I got caught with that a little bit this morning, but I am not complaining. We are beyond blessed. I never thought I'd be at where I am at now, by far. And so what I got to do now is be a good steward with what I have, and hopefully someday have more to be a good steward with. But yep, that's the plan. Oh, and speaking of, I know I talked about what streams I'm going to do. Verna had mentioned in her stream this morning it might be neat to post what I do for Hanukkah or lighting the lights or something like that. And I thought that was a great idea. I'm just learning, and I'm not Jewish or anything like that, so what I follow, I believe, is I read the Bible and I try and follow that. So, of course, there's a lot of things in there with the holy feasts and stuff. Hanukkah is not one of those. It's more of a fun one. However, I think it's very multi-layered, and there are some very important things in there to remember and to teach the kids and to stand out, as well as to have some good family time and stuff like that. So I'm not going to get into that too much. I do want to make a video, and I've decided not to do it in the live stream. I thought about doing a live stream of lighting a candle, the first one, or something like that, and talking about it for several reasons. One, I work a retail type job and is extremely busy, and I do work nights, and so that's hard for me to do. So our Hanukkah is going to be a little spotty. We don't have my oldest son all those nights either, so it's going to be here and there, and then kind of culminating on a together. So I do it a little bit differently, and I decided what I'm going to do, since I want to get to making more videos anyways, is, and that's my goal that I've been kind of failing on lately, I'm going to shoot a video on what we do, kind of what I know about it, or why we do it, I guess. Celebrate Hanukkah. And so I'm just going to make a short little video on that, and feel free to check that out. I do encourage it. It's just going to be short, and it's going to be kind of fun, and just me explaining a little bit of what I do and why. And I hope to get that out. It's not going to be on the first night, as Hanukkah starts tomorrow. Probably somewhere in the middle when I have some time there. But it's 8 days long, so stay tuned for that little video, even though we won't have a live stream next week. And then let's see. If you wake up and you're able to get out of bed, that's the beginning of the blessing. You are right. Yes. I used to joke around actually and tell people, they'd say, what'd you do today? Or how are you doing? And I'd tell them, well, I took a journey to the surface of the Earth's crust. And I would laugh about that. I don't know if anyone really got what I was saying or thought it was funny, but to me, I was saying I got out of bed, and that's the start. And so, I took a journey to the surface of the Earth's crust. I hopped out of bed and started my day. And so that's definitely the start. So, yeah, so traditionally with Hanukkah, each of the days you give a small gift, and that's more so for the kids and fun stuff like that. So we have our 8 gifts that we're going to give. We're going to have to kind of give them spotty because of how we have time. They're going to end up getting most of them on 1 or 2 of those days, but yep. And so it's the Festival of Lights. There's a lot to remember there on how we're provided for as well. as having to do our part in that as well. And so that's something I want to get into a little bit more, and we'll do that there. I'm not going to be on too much longer tonight. I am not feeling the bestest. My throat's kind of going a little weird. I'm going to go have one of my raw fermented garlic cloves. And it's cold. So I got a lot to do tonight. I actually need to get in and clean up the house. On Saturday, we didn't get that done today, and so it's now time for me to do that and do a little bit of cleaning up. I got a few things to wrap. I need to get this gift packaged up and sent off to CK there at Carolina Kind. And so, feel better, bro, eat the honey, yep. So I'm not going to be on more than just a couple minutes. I'm going to read a few comments here, kind of wrap it up a little bit. Really appreciate everyone being on tonight, and we're at about almost an hour, so that's about where I wanted. Honey and turmeric, okay. Yeah, so I know you've been here both the streams. I did a fermented honey garlic that I've been taking, and that's great. That's of age now. It's at a little over a month. And then I have a lemon ginger honey I've been doing, but a turmeric's one I want to do as well. So Verna's saying blessings to all, have a wonderful filled blessed night. Yep, so we'll say leave it with that, Verna. Thank you very much. So everyone have a blessed night. Stay strong, do the things. I appreciate you guys in this community so much. Thank you, CDB, for being here and moderating, doing an excellent job. Congratulations, CK. Everyone go back to the comment section, leave your favorite animal, enter for that Govie. Stay tuned for my video on Hanukkah and how we do it, and my video on winning that silver coin for our New Year's Eve drawing. And so good night, y'all. You have a good one. Thanks for joining. Good night, Psych. Good night, Carolina Kind. Thank you guys for joining. Good night, Jeremy, last one. Good night, Verna, CDB, and all the are still in here. Anyone I'm missing, I apologize. Linda, if you're still in here. And there we go. You guys have a good evening.